Hi everyone, I hope our collaborators, speaker and attendees are in good health. This session is being organized by the World Cybersecurity Forum and the Lokmanya Tilak College of Engineering in collaboration with each other. The topic that will be discussed today by our eminent speaker, Mr. Tosin Akinsowon, is cyber attacks and its preventions. Let me give you a brief about the organizers, the World Cybersecurity Forum, and the Lokmanya Tilak College of Engineering, and the speaker, Mr. Tosin Akinsowon. World Cybersecurity Forum is a globally prestigious cyber consultancy and web community that tends to create cyber awareness in regard to various internet issues and goes as a wellspring of techno-legal information for professionals, students, teenagers, and middle-aged civilians around the globe. As a dedicated cybersecurity platform, World Cybersecurity Forum has been catering unbiased information to professionals on countless security challenges that they come across every day. Lokmanya Tilak College of Engineering was established in the year 1994 and is a premium in engineering college in Navi Mumbai under the iconic LTJSS banner. The college is approved by AICTE and is NAAC accredited. The aim of the college is to excel in providing quality education, internship assistance, and excellent placement for students. Dr. Vivek Sunapawar, the principal, Dr. Subhash Shinde, the vice principal, Professor Dolly Boban, and Professor Nimi KV, HOD and Associate HOD, and Dr. Trishala Garg of the Lokmanya Tilak College of Engineering have joined us today. The speaker, Mr. Tosin, is a cybersecurity expert from Nigeria who is serving the cyber community since 2014. He is dual masters. In the year 2014, he had pursued MSc in computer science from the University of Lagos, Nigeria, and then in the year 2018, he pursued a degree in masters in cyber forensics and malware analysis from China Criminal Police University. He is also certified professional from Oracle University, USA. He has various certifications in maritime security, ethical hacking, penetration testing, computer hacking, and forensic investigator. Thank you so much for sparing some time for our students, sir. I would like to ask you to come forward and discuss the issue related to cyber attacks and its prevention.
Oh, thank you very much. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, sir.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Oh, thank you, Mega, for the introduction. It is my pleasure to be around here today to present to you on this meeting. I think I can share screen, right? Or
Yes, sir, I'll give you
right.
screen sharing guides.
All right.
Yes, sir, you have.
So let me share I think I have the floor now, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So the topic today is cyber attack preventions. As you can see, we all know that recently there are several cyber attacks that's happening globally. This has come to stay. We security experts, or as a law enforcement, or as a private investigator, or wherever we find ourselves, for those are in the fields of cybersecurity. So cyber attack has come to stay. It's not going anywhere. For us as a user or as an online identity person, we know that daily we have most of our identities that is being published online. Even some may be offline by the time you leave the internet of the space. So Why all these things are in place, it is a very important thing on how to prevent ourselves from various cyber attacks that could come. So now, we have different types of cyber attacks, but today I will only be talking about two, how to mitigate about this, how to safeguard yourself, how to, what to do if you actually fall a victim of this attack. So today we're talking about malware, and I will also talk a little about malware analysis. And also, I will also be talking about sextortion. The reason I picked these two is because recently I've actually worked on these two, and we've been able to set up some mitigations on how private, corporates, and governments and individuals can actually, when they find themselves in these situations, and they can also see how they can solve the problems. Please, am I audible enough?
Yes,
Hello,
sir,
Omega, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, you're
all
audible.
right, thank you. All right, thank you. So, yeah, the first one is malware. So what is malware? Malware is an umbrella term used to refer to an intrusive program or file designed to exploit the user and benefit attacker. This is very, very straightforward definition. Because why should I attack someone? Why should Mr. A attack Mr. B if there's no financial gain? I cannot be doing this for wasting my time, my internet, my light, my other things, if there's no any other financial gain that will be coming out of this. So definitely, the nutshell of malware is just a program, an intrusive program that intrudes the privacy of other users to make sure they explore that user and benefit an attacker. So for every attacker that makes use of a malware, definitely has, the top priority is for financial gain. So we all know that we have so many malware types. You talk about Trojan, talks about denial of service, talks about a lot. Ransomware, but today I just pick ransomware. I pick ransomware today because it's one of the, currently, ransomware is the most feared form of malware. Different type of malware. Now we discover that there are some solutions on ground. Private companies that work in terms of cybersecurity companies are be able to solve some other malware forms to some extent. But in terms of malware, there's still a lot of gap to be covered. So currently, ransomware is the most feared form of malware because as of the year of 2020, more than $20 million was paid in Bitcoin for ransomware. So if this is done, or maybe if this is not, if it is like this, that means there's a lot of bridge a lot of gap to be bridged in terms of this. So this is at the year of 2020. That was when COVID came up. As it is now, this figure has actually escalated. And the number of cases of ransomware globally is also escalating. So as it is, if you are a victim of a ransomware, maybe you are an IT security of a company, this actually covers to both private and individuals. So if it is like this, definitely you discover that there must be some mitigations, there must be some solutions that must be on ground for us to be able to solve this. But in a case, if you discover that your attacker actually say, okay, I want you to pay me $20. If an attacker has intruded your systems or your file, and they say, okay, I want you to pay me a certain amount of money. And you say, oh, I'm not going to pay this. I'm not going to pay. of course, there will be a threat from the attacker. Sometimes the attacker will tell you, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But sometimes if you actually find yourself not to pay that money, maybe the worst case scenario is that your stolen data will be leaked online. Of course, we have seen so many of that happens recently this year and last year, a couple of years back, where you see so many data informations of bank informations, medical informations being published on the dark web. You know, dark web is, of course, another platform in which all these things is being done. But sometimes, by the time it's being revealed on the dark web, you can see that sometimes you find it online, maybe on the social media and other places like that. So for malware, it is a very serious attack, cyber attack, majorly targeted on corporate and government institutions, actually. Yeah, it is. For one-to-one, maybe for user to users, maybe not to the target audience is not actually strictly on individuals. This is majorly used for corporate and government institutions. I think it was last month or last 2 months, there was a case that was reported, and I was able to be part of those that actually worked on it. There's a Chinese company that wanted to lift a oil, like a crude oil from one of the West Africa countries. And unfortunate, there was a man in the middle that actually hijacked the transaction. And as a result of that, there was an attack. And the attack led to another thing, which ensured that there was an escalation. Led to an escalation. At the end of the day, we discovered that there was a fraud in the transaction. So majorly ransomware, malware attack, it is serious cyber attack that we are dealing with these days. So if this happens, what are the controls and preventions that is needed for us? What are the controls and prevention that is needed? The first thing to do is I as a private investigator or government institution investigator, cybersecurity expert, I would tell my victims or anyone that comes to me, or whenever I have the opportunity to be in a case to investigate or to actually do some things, or maybe to give an expert advice, I will tell you, don't pay the ransom. You don't need to pay the ransom. If you are a victim, don't pay the ransom. The only thing you can do, maybe if you're not too comfortable, or maybe the persistent threat is escalating, is coming, you cannot actually absorb the heat again. The best thing to do is for you to report to the police. Report to the country police, if it is a national police, if it is a local police, report the case to the police. When you find yourself in this kind of, when you find yourself, even if it is a government institution, you can actually do that. Number two is that for the control and preventions of malware analysis is for users to be security conscious while you're online and offline. There was a research I did recently. It was on online identity, digital forensic and investigation. All what this talks about is how to analyze the identity of users online and offline. How did your data got online? Who have access to it? Then how these things why online? How can we do forensic investigation on it, and also to see how we can collect digital evidence? So if all these things are in place, as a user, I am Mr. A, I find myself to make use of so many platforms like email, maybe social medias, using Twitter. Of course, I must have some security consciousness. This is very, very important. So you don't just You don't just put all your data online. You don't know who is having access to it. And as a result of this, it's actually gives the hackers or maybe the attackers an edge over you. By the time they know your maybe every details, your password or security, of course, they can easily send you a link. Maybe you just click on it and you don't know what happened. A ransomware is being transferred, a malware is being transferred to you. As a result of that, they hijack your session. So this is very, very important among the controls and preventions that is needed when you're dealing with cyber attacks. Number 3 is we need to have some security awareness training. You see, this for you to, there's an adage that says that if you think education is expensive, I think you can also try illiteracy, or you try ignorance. So as a result of that, so it is, these days we discovered that maybe organizations or the government institutions find it difficult to invest more in terms of security, internet security, or information security of the organizations. Some of them believe that, okay, it's something we can manage. Some of them believe that it's something we can just, patch. No. You can't do that. There must be a security awareness training, and it should be a top priority from individuals and organizations. The reason why I said from individuals, because for every organization comprised of individuals at top, units, different units makes up an organization. So by the time you have a breach in one unit and you couldn't actually manage it, then you discover that as a result of that, the organization has been breached. Currently, most of the developing world, maybe there's no something like maybe robots or something, but human beings actually, the high security failures is human, because we all manage this security gadgets. We man this IT information security. We man all this sensitive information. So we must have this as a controls and prevention. Security awareness training, cyber attack simulation assessment should be carried out periodically. This, we have actually said it several times in one of the meetings I've had. Even UNODC also have said this, and I'm sure Cyber World Security also has actually be a campaign of this. So we must ensure that top priority from individuals and organizations, cyber attack simulation assessment should be carried out periodically. Because as a result of this, you'll be able to know where your company IT information systems is being vulnerable. Before the attackers can have access to this, then it is better for you, maybe to the cybersecurity team, to have access to this. So it helps you to prevent you from any other cyber attacks that will come in. So these are the very good points. So the next one about is the security team need to ensure that the domain name system traffic is monitored for malicious activity to prevent DNS tunneling attack. This DNS tunneling attack is one of the major ways where the attackers actually having access to government or to information security, which can lead to cyber attack. So this is very important, very, very important, because when an hackers tunnel malware into DNS queries, it creates a persistent communication channel. So you can discover that there is some situation that you find yourself that there are some persistent communication channel that is coming to. It's just coming to your network. It's coming to your network. And you discover that you cannot, your firewall is not doing anything to detect it. Your firewall is not, maybe your antivirus is not doing that. All your security thing you have put in place is not actually working to see how this thing can be solved. So DNS tunneling attack, it is a very, very serious attack on government, corporate, and government institutions. And we must ensure that we prevent this. So this one talks about these controls and prevention actually it's not only meant for malware alone. It's not only meant for malware alone. This can also be used for other cyber attacks that is coming in. So this is first part of my presentation. The second part is about sextortion. Let me say maybe how to say this. My screen is just moving. Oh my God. So the second part is about sextortion. Sextortion is, it refers to a broad category of sexual exploitation in which threatened release of sexual images or information. This case or this cyber attack, it is a very serious one. This, you can see that it can be, so many other cyber attacks can be embedded in it. One, you can see a blackmail can be embedded in it. Fraud can be embedded in it. Even cyberbullying can be embedded in it. Because by the time I have you in my hand, by the time I have some sexual images of you, maybe anything that has to do, maybe you don't have any option that. So what is sextortion actually? What is sextortion? Sextortion refers to a broad category of sexual exploitation in which threatening of release of sexual images or information. So why should somebody extort you, or why should somebody do a sextortion crime or case or any form of attack on you? One, I said it the other time, it's for financial gain actually. Everything about cyber attack in any forms is about financial gain. Even with the blackmail, maybe Mr. A pay Mr. B to blackmail Mr. C. Definitely, there's still something we call financial gain. Or maybe sometimes some can actually do it as act of revenge. So you can see that as at in the year 2019, FBI Internet Crime Complaint Center ICTD documented 32,101 cases of online extortion. And these online extortions, sextortions actually have 99% of it. 99% of it, in which the victims suffering losses of $107.5 million. Because by the time you fall a victim of this, the next thing your attacker will ask you to do is to pay for ransom. You pay for this, I release your video content online. If you don't do this, then I will do this. Please give me just a minute. Please give me a minute. All right, thank you. So with this, we can say that online extortion is a very it's a serious cyber attack that is currently happening now, because as a result of this COVID-19, so many online platforms has come up from Zoom. Even with this one we are using, if you go to the Asia, maybe you use a Tencent, you have Zoom, you have Facebook Meet, you Google Meet, and all those things. So sextortion is a very serious cyber attack now. It is. It's a very serious cyber attack. So we as users online, we must be very careful why we are online. If you don't have anything to do with this person, you don't know this person before, this person is just sending you an invite, maybe on Instagram, maybe on WhatsApp, maybe on Facebook. maybe you don't have anything to do with that. You don't need to go to, there's so many applications now these days that talk about meeting or dating online. This is where most of the victims have found themselves actually. These are the places that they find themselves, and they are fall a victim of sextortion. So if this happens, if you find yourself, if this happened to you, don't panic. If it happens, don't panic. Don't panic. Calm down. Tell someone close to you about this. We know that it's not easy to admit that you're falling a prey to the manipulative tactics of a faceless or anonymous criminal. But remember that anyone could be a victim. You see, I have a friend, or what should I call him, a friend, or maybe, yeah, because the person reported the case to me and asked for my expert advice. So there's this person that contacted him on Instagram, just say, hi, hello, how are you? Say, I'm good, okay. The conversation starts. As a result of that, the person asked for his WhatsApp number. That's a guy disguised as a lady and said she's in France, she's single, her age, as a result of that, she said, okay, let me call you on WhatsApp. We can talk better there. So the victims forwarded the WhatsApp number. The WhatsApp now, as a result of the lady called, a guy disguised a lady called. Then when they called, the lady starts showing her cleavages, undress herself, start dancing. But unfortunately for the guy, couldn't resist it. So the lady said, okay, show me your private part. Show me your private part. At the first time, he said he didn't agree to that consent. Okay. So the lady called again, said, I'm dancing with you. You don't want to do this, you don't want to do that. Okay, I'm angry with you. Show me your private part. Show me your private part. Unfortunately for the guy, he was dressed. So he was dressed, but it showed the lady, this guy lady, the private part. So as a result of that, there was an application they used and they recorded it. So after a few minutes, they forwarded the video to him and said, okay, now you have this, I will publish your nude pictures to your friends, to online media and all these things. So he was destabilized. Say, oh my God, how this, what I'm saying is just within a couple of 30 minutes. It's not even, 30 minutes. So what can he do? So he just have to say, okay, let me call. So he asked me, what can he do? So I told him, don't panic, just calm down. So if be able to do the number 2, and it says, tell someone close to you. We know that it's not easy. Yeah. And this person I'm talking about, he has a family, he's married, So what happened? How can he discuss this with his family or with his friend? It is very, very difficult. So I told him that, okay, stop all contacts with your offender. That is the person that is trying to exploit him. So, okay, stop it. When you stop it, then the guy keep on asking him to pay ransom, to pay. He wanted to use Western Union actually. Says, okay, can you pay Western Union? Can you pay Western Union? The guy said, no, he doesn't have money to pay you. I don't have money to pay you. So I told him, don't delete anything. Don't delete any of your conversation. Actually, we wanted to, because the thing happened in another country and the person is also in another country. I think the guy was in a mix of, is it UAE number? Yeah, UAE number. Then the other guy mix of a Nigerian number. So it was, if you have to escalate that, maybe we need to involve the presence of the police police, of course, which is very, very important. Then from there, it can escalate to making use of Interpol. So if this happened to you, if you find yourself in this kind of situation, you make sure that stop all the contact with your offender, don't delete anything, report to police. This actually can happen to a male or a female. Sextortion these days is not until when, before it's normally happens between two lovers, or maybe somebody that just go to an hotel, take a lady there, or maybe a guy or something. But these days, it happens online. Yeah, it happens online. Online, you meet a lady maybe on social media, or a guy or somebody that just put a picture of somebody else, an opposite sex, and just tell you this. Or you go to a dating site and you find somebody that pretends to be another person. These are cyber attacks. It's very, very rampant these days, and anybody can be a victim. Sometimes we have so many cases that we've dealt with that some videos were doctored, actually. Some pictures were doctored. And as a result of this, they threatened the original image of the picture of, okay, this is your picture, I'm going to publish it. So many people are falling prey of this. So many people. But in the case of this, that's why it says report to police. Report to your local police, report to national police. Because the police organizations have so many softwares, so many experts that can actually decode all these things. We have so many of the police organizations have digital forensic department. They have digital laboratory in which we can actually know who is who if a video or pictures is being doctored. And for some private organizations also actually have something like this. So if all these things happen to you, you find yourself in this kind of situation, for every cyber attack that comes in, you must make sure that you don't panic. Tell someone that's close to you. Stop all the contacts with your offenders. Don't delete anything. This one actually talks about sextortion. The other time we talked about malware, and we lay emphasis on ransomware, because that one majorly is strictly more of business email compromisation. But with this, maybe is more of romance scam, because romance scam is also a cyber attack. We talk about romance scams, talked about somebody to pretend to be for you want to get married. This one has always been a common one. You have, I pretend to be a lady. You say, okay, you want to marry me, send me some documents, send me some money, do this, do that. These are conventional cyber attack. But for sextortions now, it's like Invoke. It's come across every area. And the target is actually for those that have something to offer. For those that have, if you don't have anything to offer, if for example, if a cyber attack, hello, can you hear me, please?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
All right, thank you. So if somebody discovered that you have no reputation, if an attacker discovers a victim doesn't have anything to offer, most times they don't actually, when they discover that, they just let it go. But by the time they threaten you, a persistent threat attack is coming, and they see the way you reacted to it. Sometimes they can weigh the option that, okay, I think this Mr. A has something to protect. Mr. B has something to protect. So most times when they discover that your offers or maybe something, they check your profile and they try to see who you are, of course. And before an attacker will go for you, that's why we always advise people. I'm not I have to say this. I will not say you shouldn't use social media, but you should know how to protect yourself while you are there. This is very important because now that the connected devices is increasing every day, the penetration level of internet users daily is increasing, especially in the developing world. So we always have this campaign in my organization or my team. We always have this kind of campaign on how people safeguard themselves. Think before you click. Think before you click. It is a very, very important. If I should click this, what will happen to me? If I should click this, what will happen to my system? Because my name is Tosin. This is who I am. Do you know that technically 70% of who I am could be represented online? Maybe most of my information. If you say, okay, this is so person. What makes this person this? Maybe you must have a name, you must have a phone number, you must have an email address, a bank account for financial transaction. Maybe what else? Yes, my picture. Yeah. So all these things are very important. You won't be surprised if you go online, maybe on social media, you discover that all these things are available, maybe excluding a financial, maybe you're excluding your bank account, maybe a password or ATM card, but every other things you discover that a lot of people put all these things there. That's why you see somebody from nowhere can easily go online and pick your phone number and make a call to you. Somebody from nowhere can actually check your timeline and see that your pictures, your date of birth, the state or the city you have visited are all there. Now these days, we know that for most of our smart devices, you can see location. If you enable your location to be on, but when you move from point A to point B, of course, your location is being documented. So we always have to be sensitive on how we publish our data on online platforms. This is very important. Cyber attacks, as I said earlier, it has come to stay. It is not going anywhere. It is just for us to see how we can prevent ourselves and how to manage the situation. And how do you do this? For all your online accounts, even if it's a private and public domain, you must have a very solid password. Using your name or your phone number or this as a password is not a good thing. You must know how to choose a very solid, robust password. Password key is very important. Password key is very important. So all these things are very, very important. You don't just push everything you have online for everyone to see. So it is my desire, it is my will to have the opportunity to solve more cyber crimes cases that has been assigned to me, and to also help the global world, because now this is going beyond what we are planning of. But how do we do this? We also need cooperation. Yeah, we also need cooperation. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you for inviting me to come and talk about cyber crimes and prevention. I hope next time, so we have more time to discuss more than this, and to also have more robust topics to talk about. Thank you very much.
Sir, there are a few questions our students wants to ask you. If you would like to answer.
Of course, I would like to answer.
Okay. Okay, sir.
All right.
Okay, I am audible to you?
Okay.
Okay. Okay, sir. The first question is, sir, that I ordered a product online. After a few weeks, the company's website is down and social media pages are removed. What can be my remedy hereafter?
Okay, I think the questions are already here, right?
I have also texted you, so you can read it.
Okay. Okay, please, you can read again.
Okay. Sir, I was asking you that somebody has asked, I ordered a product online. After a week, the company's website is down and social media pages are removed. What can be my remedy hereafter?
All right. This is a very good question because it has happened to me. I was in China. I was in China for 3 years. So I could remember 2000 and should be 2018 or 19, November 19, no, in November 11. There's promo, should I say a promo, a discount program for in China. We call it 11/11. So I order a toy for my baby. So I discovered that the toy is not, I think it's like a mini robot that can teach children on how to talk or how to just play some music. So as a result of that, I wanted to change the language because it was strictly in Chinese to English. So but I need to scan the QR code. After scanning the QR code, then change it. So that time I tried it, but the thing didn't succeed because my Chinese wasn't too good. So last 3 months, I also tried to do that again. But I discovered that I couldn't have access to the page again of the seller. I bought it on Taobao. The seller is not having no more shop, doesn't have any contact details on the platform. So if this happened, what I just resorted to that. For me, I just continue using the device like that because it's Chinese and I can understand that. But in this kind of situation, the company website is down, social media pages are removed. You have the product online. Have they delivered the product? If the product is delivered, for example, if it is substandard, good, and you wish, if there's a refund policy or return policy, I think we can still report this to maybe the trade commerce of that country. And you say, okay, this is what is happening, this is what is happening. You can also report to the police that, okay, I bought this online, but except if you know where the seller is from. If the seller, for example, now maybe you just check online and you couldn't find anything, then maybe it's difficult for you to trace this. But for example, if you actually know maybe the location of the seller, or maybe what I mean by location, maybe you know the country where the seller is or where the seller are. Of course, maybe you can report this case to the police. They can be able to, they might not be able to solve the problem immediately. But if this happens, then it will be documented. Then for a subsequent cases that will occur in the nearest future, it will help the police to be able to mitigate this and provide solution at the right time. So if this happened, I will advise you report to the police in case you don't know where the company is being located. If this product is not delivered. But if the product is delivered, of course, there might be some other details on the company, the packaging, maybe the address, and from there you can actually see how you can trace them. So that is my own contribution on how to solve this question.
Okay, thank you, sir. The next question is, in the past 1 or 2 months, several companies have been prone to cyber attacks. What do you think these companies are doing wrong that has exposed them to these attacks?
You're reading, which question are you reading, please? Question 3
Third
or
one.
2?
Yes, sir.
The third one, okay.
Yes, sir.
Please, can you read again?
Yeah. So I was asking you that in the past 1 or 2 months, several companies have been prone to cyber attacks. What do you think these companies are doing wrong that has exposed them to these sort of crimes?
Yeah, you see, when I started the presentation the other time, I mentioned it that if you think ignorance or illiteracy, because these days we discover that companies believe that they trusted to have massive physical security gadgets. Of course, it is very important, but they also they don't know that there's no how amount of security guards you can put in your system or maybe in your facilities that can actually prevent cyber attacks. Cyber attacks will only come to company because there are financial gains there. Business email compromisation, man in the middle, even there are insider threats in most of the companies. We always tell most of the companies that for an attack to be successful, there must be an insider attack. Yes, because we have seen this, an insider attack. Yes, because we have seen this, it has been a norm, is in vogue. So what we normally advise companies to do is to have a cyber security assessment periodically. Maybe you can do it 3 months, you can do it 6 months. 1 year is too much, it's not advisable. Because if I'm an attacker and I see vulnerabilities in your network, of course, it is a good thing for me to do. So we always ensure that companies, we encourage them to make sure they do cybersecurity assessment periodically. And they should also strengthen their firewalls. They should also, this we always tell them, invest more in internet security for your company. Invest more in training your cyber security expert. Employ cybersecurity expert. This is very important. Sometimes you will say some job role, they will tell you this, and at the end of the day, you see, it's funny. If somebody have a CISSP, somebody have a CISM, somebody that is a penetration tester. How many company has a penetration tester? These are the things they're supposed to do. You need to invest more in your company's internet or cyber security department. It is very, very important. If you don't want to suffer cyber attacks, then let your best hands manage the best position. So these are my own resolution for this.
Okay, thank you, sir. My next question is, what are the checks and measures a company must take to be hack-proof or cyber attack safe internationally, and how far are hackers liable in this scenario? Can the government also be sued for laxity for their end in making sure that these companies are safe from cyber attacks?
You're reading question 4, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, please read it again.
Okay. So I was asking you that what are the checks and measures a company must take to be hack-proof or cyber attack safe internationally, and how far are hackers liable in this scenario? Can the government also be sued for laxity from their end in making sure that these companies are safe from cyber attacks?
Oh, this is a very good question. Let me start from the last part that says, can the government be sued for this? Okay. For example, if a cyber attack occurs in India, or let me say, for example, let me say it occurs in India. If the government has a role to play actually in safeguarding the cyberspace, but I think the governments cannot actually do everything. The government officials cannot come to your organization and ask you, have you updated your antivirus? Is your firewall security system up to date? How many cybersecurity experts have you employed in your company? Maybe they will not do that. Maybe. I know that my country, Nigeria, we have in the department of, in the office of the National Security Advisor, we have a computer emergency response team. And when you have a cases of a cyber attack you can actually report to that place. They are the one in charge of incident response in times of cyber attack. If you report to the police, also the police also have something like that. These ones, the most times what we do is reactive measures. When we try to do preventive measures, we discover that it's better actually. So in a situation that when you have your company to be hack-proof, of course, I believe that it is the responsibility of the company to make sure that their systems or their information systems is functioning properly, robust and reliable. If you have any issue, the government, I think the government can actually be of support. But internationally, we have so many international organizations that can also be of help. But suing your government for laxity, I don't think it is a good idea. So I don't think suing your government for laxity from their end, make sure that are safe, except if there's a partnership between the government and the companies, maybe. But in most cases, it's not like that. It's not like that. So internationally, there are some, maybe Interpol. Interpol provides a platform for you to some sensitization. And I know UNODC also does that. I know United Nations, because last year there's the UNICRI, United Nations Office of Crimes and Research Department. Yeah, UNICRI. Because they what they do is that they just they do research on artificial intelligence and robotics. So they actually have so many programs on this, and I'm sure we also have other international bodies that can help so many companies to take some checks and measures if you actually need their services. But suing your government for lack of laxity and make sure your company is safe from cyber attacks is not the best option for you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for answering this question, sir. My next question is, majority of countries are being victim of various cyber IPR attacks like IP theft. So is there any common law or guidelines that are being followed by nations irrespective of jurisdiction to combat them?
Yeah, I think so. I think IP theft is globally. It's part of now when we talk about the transnational organized crime in the cybersecurity aspect of it. Actually, let me say IP theft is one of the cybersecurity aspects of transnational organized crime. So the guidelines that are being followed by nations, there is a standard guidelines from, is it NATO? I think so. Yeah, I think I think, yeah, but I know there are so many guidelines for you to be followed by nations irrespective of the jurisdiction on how to prevent various cyber attack. And this has been, United Nations actually have one. Yes, I remember for UN has one. Yes, UN, I think UNTO. Yeah, I think so. So these things are these law and guidelines are there, but how many nations are actually following it? So that is why we always see that these attacks are actually coming back. They're coming back. But we also need to remember that cyber attackers are moved at the speed of law, while are moved at the speed of light, while the investigators or we that we want to try to catch them and move at the speed of law. So most of the times, as you said, there are laws or guidelines. So there's so many bureaucracy that you need to follow. And that is why we discovered that this cyber attack are still coming back to various nations. So, but the laws are out there. UN has one. I'm sure NATO has one. Interpol also have one. Safeguarding the guidelines, the common law that you can use. But irrespective of where you're coming from. But how many people actually have time to follow this? How many countries or nations are actually, when you are following it, actually, you need so many process, so many, bureaucracy, the bureaucratic procedures that you need to follow. And so that's why we find it difficult these days to actually move at the pace of the cyber attackers. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Sir, can you stop your screen sharing?
All right, thank you.
Yeah. So the next question is that recently the Colonial Pipelines was under cyber attack and the company paid ransom. After the incident, the CEO of the company was asked to testify before the Senate. When asked about how much the company spent on keeping cyber secure, the CEO replied that the company spent overall $200 million for past 5 years and didn't have figures specially for spending on cybersecurity. I want to ask you if there is lack of transparency and legal framework for data audit regarding securing data.
Please, can you ask the question again?
Yeah, sure. I was saying that recently the Colonial Pipelines was under cyber attack and the company paid ransom. After the incident, the CEO of the company was asked to testify before Senate. When asked about how much the company spent on keeping cyber secure, the CEO replied that the company spent overall $200 million for past 5 years and didn't have the figure, especially for spending on cybersecurity. Here, the question is that uh, if there is a lack of transparency and legal framework for data audit regarding securing the data.
Lack of transparency. And is it possible for you to put this question on the chat box for me to see? Is it possible?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir. I have done that.
Okay. Okay. Now the questions we want to ask is about the lack of transparency and legal framework for data audit regarding securing data. Now, the company was attacked, and the CEO said that they paid $200 million for the 5 years. That means the company, for example, at year 2020, year A, the company maybe, for example, now pay 50%, or let me say 25%. At year B, maybe 10%. So that means there has been a recurring attack on Colonial Pipeline. So you see, I said it the other time, if a company is being attacked, don't pay ransom. Even individuals, if you pay for ransom, you are going to pay again. You are going to pay again. Okay, now see what happened. The Senate invited the CEO to come and give an account. For example, Mega, you pay me money that you cannot trace. If it can even pay the money maybe to bank account, it's not possible. An attacker will not ask you to pay into a bank account. Maybe you ask to go and pay in Bitcoin. So who is going to go to the dark web to go and investigate that? There's no record. How do you want to say? That's why we always advise, don't pay for ransom. What you can only do is to face the shame maybe one time, because it's just an escalating incident. By the time you start paying, you will continue paying. You cannot stop paying. It's not possible. We have seen so many cases like that. I've seen companies that actually wanted to do, but they paid for the first time, a second time, and they stopped because we asked them to stop. By the time you keep on paying for 5 good years, you have been paying for ransom. you have to pay for 10, 15 years. And now, how do you want to defend $200 million? Nowhere, no data, no traces, no. So to me, this is I don't want to be too rude, but I just want to say that this is not proper actually. This is not actually a good way of solving. You want to, for example, we don't know what happened. Okay, let's assume it's a ransomware attack. Or maybe, for example, maybe there's a man, the company has been attacked, of course, good. Maybe there's a business email compromisation. If this happened, the first thing to do is to see where the vulnerabilities comes from. When you'll be able to detect that, then you can actually reinforce on that. And you need to do a customer retention loyalty. I remember when I was in telecoms 5 years ago, this is sometimes we do, customer retention loyalty. You need to tell me as a customer, I'll be partnering with you, I've been your customer for 2 months, for 1 year. You need to let me know that, okay, you have been a customer for this year, you have our confidence, we cannot do anything to your data. Recently we have a cyber attack, and this is what happened, and this is what we have done to make sure that this will not happen again. If you can actually tell this to your customer, then the confidence level might come from 0 to 50%. Before it was 100%, but now, for the fact that the company has been attacked and the data has been breached, yes, we agree. You don't need to lie about this. But you continue to pay for ransom for 5 good years. This is not a good one. I'm very sure that this money that is being paid by this company must have been from, of course, it must be the customer's money. So this is not a good way to solve this problem. You cannot, as a CEO, you cannot actually solve this problem like this. One, you want to make sure that you're covering this thing. You cannot cover it for long. Yeah, it is not a good way to do it. So this is a legal framework for data auditing. Yes, because to me, I want to say this is not transparency. This doesn't have anything to do with, because it doesn't have anything to, no data, no evidence. So how do you want to do it? You keep on paying ransom. This is not a good way to solve this problem. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for discussing these issues and also for answering all our questions. Okay. Now I would like to call Professor Dolly Boban, HOD, FE Department of Lokmanya Tilak College of Engineering, for the vote of thanks. Ma'am, can you please join us?
Yes, I'm here. Good evening, one and all. On behalf of Lokmanya Tilak College of Engineering, I, Dolly Boban, take this opportunity to thank Mr. Tosin Akinsowon for this very informative session and enabling our students to know how to protect all categories of data from theft and damage. Also grateful to World Cybersecurity Forum team for arranging this session. Thank you. Over to Megha.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, sir, for this session, for joining us as speaker, and ma'am for collaborating with us. We apologize if there was any inconvenience that caused to you, and thank you so much. Thank you so much to all the attendees also.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.